Could somebody please mute themselves? Anybody who's on except for the board members, please mute yourself. Thank you.
Who is Eagle Nest? Will you please mute yourself?
Thank you. Everybody, I have 6:28. We'll begin in approximately 2 minutes. Okay, is everybody on? Bernie, we have a complete head count?
I'm checking now.
Bernie, I just don't see Jeff Winston.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's the only one.
Oh, he's coming back in now.
Okay, we'll give Jeff a minute. We're waiting for you, Jeff. Get yourself settled. No worries.
Yeah, no, I'm on my daughter's laptop.
Let me just make a note also before we begin the meeting, because I've got one of the members of the public is asking with regard to engaging in a Q&A. The board meeting is not for a question and answer session. Certainly members of the public will be able to offer comment during the public session, but it's not an opportunity to engage in questions and answers. That is not the intent of the board meeting.
Okay, Jeff, you good to go?
Give me 30 seconds. I need to just,
No worries, no worries. I had a lot of problems logging on tonight too.
I'm just getting power to this thing. See if I can do it. Cyrus, plug in there. Where? All right, I'm set.
Okay,
You can hear me?
yep, can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Due to the COVID-19 health emergency and in order for the Board of Education to conduct its business, this board meeting is being held video conference and streamed live via YouTube on the district website at www.ebnet.org. In addition, members of the public may provide comment at this meeting through Zoom by entering into your web browser the following meeting ID and password. Upon joining the meeting, your participation will be muted to ensure that there is no disruption to the business being conducted by the Board of Education. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu,
Here.
Mr. Sismar,
Here.
Mrs. Guas,
Here.
Mr. Hong,
Here.
Mrs. Lax,
Here.
Mrs. Reese,
Here.
Mr. Simmons,
Here.
Mr. Winston.
Here.
President Becker.
Here, we have a quorum. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and
and
to
to the
the republic,
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the East Brunswick Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published at the Board of Education offices. Written notice was also provided to the Sentinel, the Newark Star Ledger, the Home News and Tribune, and the Municipal Clerk of East Brunswick. All Board of Education meetings, with the exception of executive session discussions, are videotaped for later broadcasts, and individuals who speak at the board's public meetings should be aware of this. Good evening. Although it looks like I am in a cave, I'm having some major technical difficulties, and that is why I appear to be in the shadows. Good evening. I hope everyone who is watching is well and safe, and we're going to start off with our superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Becker. My report tonight is very brief. At 1:45 this afternoon, I sent a communication to the entire East Brunswick community regarding our planning for the opening of school this September. It's a high-level overview. So the community understands, there are many more reviews to our plan, one of which will occur at the board level tonight. And the board has to take final action at next Thursday's meeting. We will also need county approval. So the anticipation is that during the week of August 3rd, all those approvals will be in place, and we'll be able to put our plan on the district's website, on our homepage for the entire public to review. And that will give everyone approximately a month or a little longer to review the plan and to have any concerns that they have addressed, or to provide any insight into our anticipated plan. So that's all I have.
Okay. Matt Giacobbe, our attorney, wish to say a few words?
Sure. I understand that members of the public have inquired if we're going to have live board meetings. And my recommendation at this juncture is to keep it in a Zoom format. And the reason being is that under the Open Public Meeting Act, when you have a meeting, you can't exclude members from the public. And you have to have sufficient capacity to attend your meetings. And we generally do them in the board office. Occasionally when you have the big events, when you're celebrating retirements and Teachers of the Year, we've done it in Hammersholt. But with social distancing mandates and the for public safety reasons, my recommendation is to keep it in the Zoom format now, where anyone can participate. People can log in, watch, make public comments, because the one thing that we cannot do is we can't control who from the public is going to come to a physical public meeting, as opposed to when you're in a virtual format, there is no limits. So my recommendation at this juncture is to keep it virtually. I'd say that the vast majority of towns and school districts are doing the same thing. They're finding that the public can participate, can watch the business of the board, can view it. They have access to all the same documents that they normally would at a public meeting. Frankly, I've actually seen greater public participation with people zooming into board meetings over the last several months. And I think it's really to just ensure the health and safety of the staff, the board members, and the general public until we have greater clarity of where this COVID-19 virus is going. And as you can see right now, there's 31 states on travel advisory bans. So we're just playing it cautious so that no one gets unnecessarily exposed to COVID-19.
Thank you, Matt. Okay. The good of the cause to the public. Members of the public may provide comment at this meeting through Zoom by entering the URL you see in front of you on your screen and the meeting ID and password. In order to be recognized, use the chat feature, select the Zoom meeting host, then enter and send your name to the host. You will be recognized to speak when your name is called, and individuals will be invited to speak in the order in which we receive your request. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves. To protect the privacy of all students and staff, concerns regarding individual students and staff members should generally be addressed first, meeting with the appropriate administrative staff. Public participation will be limited, each participant to 3 minutes duration. Is there anyone wishing to address the Board of Education tonight?
We have one individual who has requested, Robin Zernitsky.
Welcome.
Ms.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, hi, how are you? I have 2 questions. One is, I understand that obviously through Governor Murphy's laws that he's enacted, that virtual learning will be available to any family. Will we be getting more details of how virtual learning will be run? Because in my experience, I have 2 kids that are in elementary school, and in my experience, I think compared to other areas, the level of virtual learning that went on in the spring, in my opinion, was not acceptable. It was busy work. Our children weren't learning. It was not enough interaction amongst the children. So I'd like to understand so that I can make an educated decision for my children. Kind of, when will we get that guidance?
President Becker, would you mind if I responded?
No, please.
So right now, this is for the entire community who might be listening or watching. Tomorrow, Governor Murphy has indicated that he will release guidance for virtual learning. And we knew he announced it, but we were told to hold forthcoming guidance, so we don't know exactly what that's going to be. But I assure you, we have undertaken redesign of our distance learning since we left on March 18th. And it will look different than it did when we left to close our schools for the pandemic. So if we, once we get Governor Murphy's guidance and align that with our plan, we'll have more to communicate with the community, and we'll put that out as a Blackboard like I did today.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Next, we have Robin Ashman.
Welcome, Robin.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate being here tonight. Just to give you a little background so you know where I'm coming from.
Next, we have Robin Ashman.
Are you hearing
Welcome,
the ghost?
Robin.
Yes, could you please turn off the video that you have on streaming, please?
Give you a little background so you know where I'm coming from.
We have Robin Ashman.
Okay. Are you hearing
Welcome,
the ghost?
Robin.
Yes, could you please turn off the video that you have on
Yeah.
streaming, please?
Okay, that should help. All right. So I'm a professor at Stevens Institute of Technology up in Hoboken. I've been teaching there for 7 years, pursuing my PhD in health science. So
Excuse me, Ms. Ashman.
yes,
I'm sorry, we're still getting a lot of feedback.
you want me to? I can just text you what I want to say.
No, do you have the video running on your web browser in the
He
background?
has to turn off the live stream.
Still getting a lot of feedback.
My video's off.
No, not your video, your live stream. What you have is you're watching it live stream as well. If
Oh,
you
hold on.
mute your live stream, then you can turn your video back on.
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you.
That's
There we
better.
go. It's much better. Okay. I thought I had it muted. So, where was I? All right. Sorry for that interruption. Okay.
Don't worry.
I'm a professor at Stevens Institute of Technology. I've been teaching there for 7 years, and I'm currently pursuing my PhD in health science at Drexel. So my feet are in both worlds, education and science. My concern has been inconsistency. You know, I'm also a Girl Scout leader in town. So I have my daughter who's in Frost, and I have girls who are in Central, and I have girls who are Memorial, and I have girls who are also now going into Hammersholt. And I've seen a tremendous amount of inconsistency in the teaching. So we'll take my daughter, for example. I love Frost. I'm very happy with Miss Payette and all she's done. My daughter didn't learn a single thing from March till June. Honestly, again, as a professor, I've watched her, I've been close to her, I've been able to teach my courses and be online with her as well. I talked to the parents in my troop, and their daughters are having actual learning. You know, they've gone further in their science and their math and their literature. And this is the same thing. This is both fourth graders. So there seems to be an inconsistency in the schools in what the kids are learning. Not only that, it's within the school as well. So my daughter is in class, we'll say class A, and she's switching with class A and B, but students who are in fourth grade in class C and D were having online consistent learning experiences. So there seems to be a disparity in education, not only within the schools themselves, but between the schools. And I'm wondering what we can do to make sure that everybody's learning at the same level, because by the time they get to me in 8 years, and I'm seeing it already, there's going to be a problem. You know, students in New Jersey do not compete with the students I get from other states and from other countries. And it's startling and very disheartening for me to say. And I took my daughter out of St. Thomas because I believe she would get a better education in East Brunswick. In St. Thomas, and I don't know if any of you know this, is a poor parish with low to middle income parents, okay? And they had consistent learning from March until June with Zoom classes, live Zoom classes, where they had English from 45 minutes and they had math for 45 minutes, and they took a recess break and they took a lunch break, and they had religion and they had social studies and they had science. They lost nothing. And they're also a blue ribbon school, just like we are. So now I'm wondering, do I need to send my daughter back just so that she can get back on track? I don't want to. You know, I'm happy with what I've had with Frost, you know, while we were been there, minus the pandemic. But again, now I'm seeing things that I find very disturbing as an educator and as a parent.
Okay, time.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
And if I could, President Becker, those concerns are being addressed, and we will have clear expectations that we will communicate to parents about how virtual learning will look and what the expectations for both students and staff will look like for those that select virtual learning as we enter this next school year.
Thank you.
And next we have Andrew Morell. Mr. Morell?
Thank you. Just to echo what the previous two ladies said, our son goes to Churchill. He was in 8th grade going into 9th. While he was at Hammershaw on the first year of Churchill, he was on the honor roll, getting straight A's and B's. Remote learning, unfortunately, without any teachers leading the instruction via Zoom or WebEx or any other plethora of video sharing technology you want to name, was completely ineffective when it went to C's and D's. Giving a student an assignment to read a chapter of a book in Canvas and then send them to a quiz just doesn't cut it. It's very ineffective, at least for our child. Is there any particular reason we aren't going to use Zoom or WebEx technology to have a live teacher leading math for 45 minutes, then going on to English and then history and then science? That's question number one. And question number two, in regards to the communication Dr. Walensky sent out today, I didn't see anything in there about COVID-19 testing in schools should you elect to send your child back to school. Would you care to comment on that, please?
COVID-19, we're not going to require COVID-19 testing to re-enter schools. That is covered under most individuals' private insurance. That will be, if somebody is suspected of being exposed, we are going to require that they get a test, but we're not going to mandate testing for the reentry of school for the entire population, not at this time. But to answer your earlier question about the needs of your child, if you could wait until the governor gives us the guidance on the virtual learning, we will be prepared to put out very shortly, I would say within a week, what the expectations for virtual learning will be and different platforms for delivering that kind of instruction, should parents choose that.
Mrs. Becker, I have no one else in the queue unless there's anyone else that wishes to speak.
Mr. Morell, are you finished, sir? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were concluded. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board at this time?
I just said thank you, that's all.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry?
He just said thank you.
Oh, thank you too. Have a good night. Okay, seeing none, I am going to close the public portion.
Actually, I had just emailed. This is Robin Zernitsky one more time. I have one other question. Can I pose it?
Yes, I think given the circumstances, we're not, we have to be very flexible. We know parents are concerned.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do have one other question. Will we also be getting detailed guidance on if your child is attending in-person school, what will happen if someone is positive with COVID or someone is exhibiting symptoms? Will those things be laid out to us clearly as to, what are the waiting periods, who will have to, not attend school for X number of days? Is that something that will be coming in the coming week?
President Becker, if I could, it absolutely, it will be in the plan, and we will be working, if we have an occurrence like that, we will be working in concert with the Middlesex Department of Health. So in addition to our protocol, we'll be aligning that with the medical professionals at the department for whatever steps we need to do on contact tracing and for notification.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin. Stay safe. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board?
There's no one else.
Okay, seeing none, I will close the public portion. I just want to say that we know that everyone has questions. We still have questions. The most frustrating part of this whole thing, even though it's hard to pick just one, is that the news and directive and mandates we are receiving from the governor and the DOE change, if not daily, every 2 to 3 days. We are trying to keep up with the mandates. We are trying to come up with a plan for every option. We are parents. We understand your concern. There's nothing more precious than our children and our children's health and safety. We will have a plan to the best of our ability to make sure that your children are as safe as we can create the environment for. We're doing everything we can. What we need is clear, consistent guidance from the state and or the Department of Education so that we can finalize our plan. But I thank you all for being concerned and being our partners in this endeavor. We're all figuring it out, and our parents' involvement and commitment is crucial, and we thank you for it. Dr. Valesky, did you want to add anything?
No, President Becker. Well, I do actually. You know, as President Becker said, we do have parent involvement in our pandemic response teams at our schools that provide input for our plan. They will be reviewing the plan. The board will review and finally approve next week. So they'll have input. But we appreciate the concerns tonight because we think they're representative of the community. But I can't reinforce enough that this is going to be a community recovery, that parents and guardians will have to be our partners in evaluating their own child's health, their own family health, and determining whether or not they send their kids back to school on a given day after being out of school for a period of time. So that is one of the partnerships that I think is going to be key to our success in this, that we'll have to manage our own self-care and the care of our children and make sure that they get whatever treatment they need, we get whatever treatment we need before exposing other people. So that's a key part of us pulling this off and being safe in doing it. But I believe we have a solid plan, and we continue to tweak it. And based on even some of the comments tonight, we will go back, we will look to make sure that the needs of every constituent who spoke tonight are met in that plan. So thank you.
And when you come and talk to us, it helps us to better communicate to you what you need to know. So thank you to those who took the time to speak to us tonight. Okay, moving on to our agenda. Can I please have a motion on the Board of Education agenda for tonight to combine items 1, 2, and 3?
So moved.
Moved by Todd, second by Mark. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. On our curriculum agenda tonight, I'd like to have a motion to combine items 1 and 2.
So moved.
Moved by Todd. Second by Barbara. Barbara, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. On our facilities agenda, can I please have a motion for items 1 through 3? Going once. Item moved by Mark.
Second.
Second by Todd. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. On our financial services agenda, can I please have a motion to combine items 1 through 16?
So moved, Jeff. So moved.
Moved by Jeff, second by Mark. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Mr. Sismar,
Yes.
Mrs. Guas, Mrs. Guas,
Yes.
Mr. Hong,
Yes.
Mrs. Lax,
Yes.
Mrs. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Winston.
Yep.
President Becker.
Yes, with the exception of on items 2, bill list payments pending, I need to abstain on 2 items. Purchase order P2002908 and P2003695.
Noted.
Thank you. Motion carries. We're up to our human resource agenda tonight. As board members were informed before the meeting, the list beginning on page 7 and continuing on page 8 up to summer ESL programs has been deferred. Summer ESL program list is as is. Can I please have a motion for our human resource agenda item?
So moved.
Moved by Mark,
Second.
second by Leo. Is there any discussion? Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Mr. Sismar,
Yes.
Mrs. Guas,
Yes.
Mr. Hong,
Yes.
Mrs. Lax,
Yes.
Mrs. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Winston,
Yes.
President Becker.
Yes. Motion carries. On our staff agenda, staff development agenda, can I please have a motion for the one item?
Yep.
Moved by Todd,
Second.
second by Mark. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? Opposed? Motion carries. On our student services, can I please have a motion to combine items 1 and 2?
So moved.
Moved by Lewu,
Second.
second by Mark. Is there any discussion? Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Mr. Sismar,
Yes.
Mr. Hong,
Yes.
Mrs. Lax,
Yes.
Mrs. Reese,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Winston,
Yes.
President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. Our transportation services tonight. Again, as board members, we're told at the request of the administration, items 1 through 3 were deferred from the agenda. Can I please therefore have a motion for the remaining item, which was item number 4?
So moved.
Moved by Mark,
Second, Jeff.
second by Jeff. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Are there any committee reports, information items for the good of the cause for the board? Anyone wishing to speak, have anything to say?
Barbara,
Barbara?
I just wanted to compliment our team. They did a presentation for the New Jersey School Boards Association today, and they spoke about Canvas, and our team did a wonderful job speaking which wasn't a surprise, to the New Jersey School Boards Association, and they asked East Brunswick to speak about our program.
Thank you, Barbara. Anyone else?
Should I give my student report at this time?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you at first. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long time. It's nice to see you guys as well.
How's your summer going?
It's been good. It's been good. Last week I was actually sick, not with anything COVID related, but just food poisoning kind of knocked me out for 2 days. So
Oh, sorry to hear that anyway. Please, we'd love to hear your report.
yeah, as I said, it's nice to see you guys all. It's around midsummer now, and in light of the recent email that everyone received from Mr. Valesky, I got a little bit of confused texts, mainly because people were a little confused about the details of the plan. And I mainly told them, like, this is an uncertain time, and I guess it requires flexible plans. And if it kind of ensues some ambiguity, then that's just the tightrope that we have to kind of walk across for this time. So most students are understanding of that, and most of them look forward to when a more detailed response can roll out. And they're very patient. That's another thing that I want to mention. In terms of students as well, most people are starting to go out now a little bit more often. I think the stay-at-home fatigue is starting to hit. Graduation parties are becoming a little bit more populated. Beaches are also being populated. It's starting to resemble a little bit like a normal summer, but we're still nowhere near as close. And on a more serious matter, I did want to talk about, in particular, this one Instagram account named, I'll explain it. It's called Racism at EBHS, and how it works is students anonymously send in experiences detailing racism or racist encounters that they've had. And of course, you need to take this with a little bit I just like, since it's an Instagram page, there's a very real possibility that some of these stories may be fabricated or completely untrue, but some of them may be experiences. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up with you is because there's one common trend that I've been seeing, which is a student has a racist encounter with another student, or some form of discrimination happened against them. And then when they report it to their teacher, coach, or some other form of administration, they simply deflect it or ignore it, or makes it seem as if it doesn't exist, and just tell them to get over it. Now, obviously, this isn't applicable to all teachers in administration. I'm sure some of them take it very seriously, but especially in light of the recent, race turmoil in this country, I think one suggestion that I want to make to you guys is to make sure that all the teachers are being very considerate of these struggles, and to at least take them all seriously, because that was one thing that, as student liaison, I thought I could present to you guys to help solve some of the problems that some of the kids have in the school.
You done?
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk over you.
It's fine.
I'm a little hard of hearing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing all this to our attention. Is there anyone else from the board?
Oh, actually, if I may again, sorry. I just remembered.
Sure.
I remember, I think it was Miss Ashman who brought it up for the good of the public, about how she was a little disheartened about the preparedness of students when they enter college. As a senior in high school myself, and a person who has an older sister who's graduated college, and numerous older friends who are in college right now in both like top 20 colleges and state level colleges, mostly East Brunswick students are very prepared, and more on the side of being over prepared for college education than on the lower side. And this is mainly due to, I guess, our advanced mathematics, because we offer classes that aren't normally available to other high schools in New Jersey, such as Calculus BC and Calc 3 honors. So if Ms. Ashman's listening, I hope that can kind of quell a little bit of your concerns about East Brunswick education.
Thank you again, Anthony. You really very articulate, and everything was well thought out, and you've given us a lot of good information. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. If there are nothing else from the board, we do have a need for a closed session. The Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in a public meeting. These subjects are as follows. Those items listed in tonight's agenda. The length of the closed session is estimated to be 90 minutes, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and action will not be taken. Can I please have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Moved by Leroux, second by Mark. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Good night, everyone. Stay safe. Board members, please leave this meeting and log into the closed session. Thank you.